His opponents didn't get it. Even some of the Republicans didn't get it. But for the most part, they did well, the Republican senators. A couple, which I'll go over, were annoying. But the Democrats once again made fools out of themselves. They made fools out of themselves in the same way they keep looking at Trump and saying, Hitler, Nazi, fascist, convicted felon. And everybody's like, screw you. We have a country to save. That's how I felt today watching them go after RFKJ. They don't get it. That audience was filled with parents, moms, with infants, with little kids with them, trying to send a message to these senators. They're done playing these ridiculous games. Half these senators are on the take with Big Pharma, or Big Ag for that matter, and doing Big Pharma's bidding live in the hearing. They don't want RFKJ. They don't want somebody who's been suing Big Pharma his entire career. That's who pays their reelection bills. And it was very obvious as you watched them today. They were smearing him. I mean, left and right, those in the press, those who are on the left-hand side of the aisle in this hearing. And, you know, they weren't even trying to hide it, basically. They just wanted to make, if half this stuff had been said outside of the U.S. Senate, they could all be sued for defamation. I mean, it was amazing. Look, I will say this. They didn't go hard personal on him like they did with Pete Hegseth. They could have brought it up. You know, obviously, Bobby Kennedy is a recovering heroin addict. He said he's been sober for 42 years. They could have brought up the personal behavior with women. It's not exactly stellar on the history there. They steered clear of that, which was good. But they, man, are obsessed with his stance on vaccines. Obsessed. And like either unwilling or unable to see what he really feels about them. I mean, look, he's not a huge proponent. I think that's fair. But they just want to paint him as somebody who wants to ban all vaccines. And he doesn't talk about banning at all. He's very against vaccine mandates. And in some cases, he wants more research being done before we push these vaccines on kids, and has joined as a lawyer in some lawsuits against the manufacturers. Look, here's one of the lowlights of the day. It was actually very funny, so I enjoyed the moment. But this is what we said. Instead of talking about what he's going to do to try to get the chemicals out of our food supply, try to work with farmers and ranchers to help them avoid these toxic pesticides in the way that they're using them now and to the measure that they're using them now. Instead of talking about that and exactly how he plans to get all of these ultra-processed foods out of our food supply or make them just a minor offering as opposed to the dominant thing you see on your shelves and at your school lunches. Instead of spending time on that, the Democrats wanted to talk about baby clothes like Bernie Sanders, who decided to bring up this onesie, which we're putting on the screen now, put out by RFKJ's nonprofit Children's Health Defense Fund, which he's now had to leave because of this appointment. And Bernie Sanders was really upset that there's a baby onesie that reads unvaxxed and unafraid. Watch this.
Now you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with leadership.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We spent actual time on a baby onesie in today's HHS confirmation hearing. Are you supportive of these onesies? America wants the truth. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I prefer the little footed onesies. Keeps their little tootsies warm when you put them in it. What? This is ridiculous. Meanwhile, guarantee you, those onesies are selling out like wildfire right now. on the Children's Health Defense website. By the way, what does it even mean? Unvaxxed, and unafraid. It could be about the COVID vaccine, which actually they were telling us should be given to babies and young people. And it's basically just the parents' way of saying, you know what? I refuse your mandates and I will make my own decisions for my children. Or maybe it is about the full vaccine schedule that they push on us to give our little kids, because there are a lot of parents out there, millions of them, in fact, that think it's too much too soon. Why are we giving the Hep C vaccine to babies, which prevents STDs? Not a lot of babies in need of that. So whatever. He tried to make this into like some federal case against the evil Bobby Kennedy. And you heard Kennedy's response there. Another big moment came when Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, she's a Dem, and I got news for you, madam, okay? Your state is getting redder by the second, so I would tread carefully if I were you. And you know what else? It tends to be that the further west the state is, the more Maha is popular. My California friends who've been voting Democrat, some of them their whole lives, love Maha. And I guarantee you, Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto has a lot of them in her state, too. The libs who thought that the right was crazy and was neocon-y and wanted to spy on them, and they weren't much akin to that. They weren't friendly toward it. They like Maha. And this is the face of Maha, so she better watch it. She decided it'd be super fun to frame RFKJ as just a loser stooge for this Trump administration.
You keep citing the Trump administration and you're just going to follow what they say. Is that what you're doing? You're just a rubber stamp for them in this position?
President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again. And I'm
So
in a
is that the
unique
only reason
position.
why you're at HHS? Is that the
Excuse
only
me.
reason why then you're at the HHS to address that one issue?
President Trump has asked me because I'm in a unique position to end that. And that is what I'm doing. And if we don't solve that problem, Senator, all of the other disputes we have about who's paying, and whether it's insurance companies, whether it's providers, whether it's HMOs, whether it's patients or families, all of those are moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. This is an existential threat economically to our military, to our health, to our sense of well-being. And it is a priority for President Trump. And that's why he asked me to run the agency. And if I'm privileged to be confirmed, that's exactly what I'll do.
Now, there were some who believed that Cortez Masto could potentially be a yes vote for RFKJ because of the reasons I just stated. I didn't see that today in the room. Doesn't mean she won't eventually do it, but the general wisdom in there was that none of these Dems who might be open to the idea of RFKJ, who was a Democrat 2 minutes ago that they loved, probably none will want to be the deciding vote. So if he loses 4 Republican votes, then he's going to need 1 Dem. And the wisdom is that not Cortez Masto, Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island is like a lifelong friend of RFKJ's. Some thought maybe he could potentially be that vote. They went to law school together. I'm pretty sure they were both in each other's weddings. You wouldn't have known that from today. So he's potentially at least another. He didn't beat up on RFKJ the way the others did. He just used his 5 minutes to go off on the issues in Rhode Island. And I got to be honest, a lot of what he said I actually agreed with. He was going on and on about the nonsense rules that constrict states when it comes to, for example, elder care. And how, you want, if Granny, kept calling her Granny, like Granny gets sick and you want to take, and like the caregivers of the family who need a break, instead of like providing coverage for a caregiver to come in for a day or 2 so the family can have a break, they insist that Granny go in an ambulance to the hospital. That insurance will pay for, but not the former, which is stupid, as he kept saying. So I got to say, White House was making some good points. He's a possible on RFKJ, but we don't know. We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and the rising cost of living, and we could have a very big problem on our hands. So what are you doing right now to protect your family for the future? Gold can be a very safe haven in very hard economic times. And Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into an IRA in gold. And it won't cost you one penny, not one out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of The Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Text my initials, MK, to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.